Hi there, hope you're having a good day. Welcome back to another video. Today we'll be talking about the bounciest basketball shoes that you can get right now. A quick flashback to my list last time. LeBron 20, Fission 8, GT Jump 2, Trae 3, and of course the Wave 10. Those are still very good options, very bouncy. Obviously this time I came up with the top 5 from the most recent releases. GT Jump 2, that's a shoe that just has to be mentioned whenever we talk about maximum cushion and bounciness. Fission 9 is not as bouncy as the 8, based on my experience. Trae 3 should be on sale in most places, and they should be dropping a Hall of Fame colorway for the Wild 10. Maybe one last chance to get a pair before the 11 comes out. Anyways, we're appreciating nice and bouncy shoes here. Like, I'm not guaranteeing that you're gonna jump higher wearing these. It's more so that these shoes will make you jump more easily, if that makes sense. If you got hops, you can probably get up in any shoe. On the other hand, these provide a decent lift to at least make it more effortless for most people. I have two honorable mentions. One is the SKX FLOAT from Skechers. This is the exact one, the low top version is the exact one that Joel Embiid is wearing after he returned from his injury. Yeah, with their hyperburst cushioning system, the midsole gives you a really good feedback underneath. Good impact protection to go with it, but the traction is still non-existent. As an outdoor shoe, maybe, especially with the durable Goodyear rubber also. Another honorable mention would be the Nike Book 1. You can think of this as a modern, more plush, bouncier and lighter version of the Air Force 1. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Book 1, I really enjoyed how it turned out on the court. It's more of a nice and subtle bounce versus the high level of responsiveness from the ones you see next. But with a large volume zoom unit in the heel, it gets the job done. It didn't make the top 5 because there was not much going on in the forefoot. Would have been better if it was a 2-piece instead of a 1-piece from Nike. Okay, the first shoe on this list, this was actually the first one that came to mind when I think of bouncy hoop shoes that dropped recently, and that is the New Balance Fresh Foam BB V2. Kind of funky looking. I mean, if you look at how stacked up the midsole is, there's gotta be at least something in there. Turned out there's quite a lot going on in there. Fresh Foam X became much more responsive compared to the first version. Impact protection is also top notch, so you can land safely too. Easy to jump with, they're about average weight, so not heavy. I don't know if you can imagine, but even for me, as someone who doesn't get up a lot or can't get up, this still has a very dynamic effect on feet. So you feel like you're assisted by a nice push from below. But with the bounciness comes a core feel that a lot of us might not be used to because it feels very elevated. Stability wise, it felt a little bit shaky at first on your toes or transitioning from front to back. So it's gonna take some time to get used to. Everything else is excellent on this shoe. Traction is top tier, super hard stop. Materials are sushi grade too. Decent quality, it even has a nice cooling effect. Yeah, Fresh Foam BB V2, first pick. Their 2A V4 is still an amazing all-around shoe, but just purely from the bounciness you get, this was my first pick on this list. Next up, another very bouncy option, but maybe you didn't expect it, and this is the Big 3 Future from 361 Degrees, better known as the Jokic shoe. Jokic is such a great ambassador for this list. I think he's a perfect example of someone who doesn't dominate with his vertical or athletic abilities, but he always chooses to play in these types of super bouncy shoes. Maybe to offset it, who knows? The guy's arguably the best player in the league. When he was with Nike, a lot of you know that it was the GT jumps all day for him after the hyperdunks. This cushioning setup really surprised me with how responsive it feels on feet. Same applies to their Big 3 4.0 Pro. Anyways, with the Big 3 series in general, cushion has been the emphasis, and you get a nice and springy effect with the carbon fiber plate, in addition to the foam itself. The midsole is caged to the right amount, protective enough, but it doesn't take away any part of the softness when you press down on your feet. If I was to point out any downsides from this shoe, traction was a tiny bit disappointing for me on this translucent outsole. They picked up a lot of dust. No major slipping, but it wasn't like the hardest stop I could get. Similar to the Fresh Foam BB and 2A V4, from 361 Degrees, the AG4 is a great bouncy shoe too, and it has much better traction, much cheaper as well. But for the absolute most bounce you can get, I still go with this premium version of the Big 3 series. Now here comes the two that I like the most here. both from Adidas. I have the AE1 and Harden Volume 8 on this list. Pretty much no-brainer picks. Both shoes are hella responsive. They have the same setup, which is a full-length jet boost. And both upper constructions make it easy to take off too. AE1, I can't stress enough about how good this shoe is. You can feel the consistent cushion throughout the midsole, forefoot and heel that is. Most importantly, on paper, this is technically the heaviest basketball shoe out there, 500 grams for each shoe, size 10.5. But for some reason, I just never felt like the weight was an issue. Wearing these, you'd almost feel like you want to get out more. In the case with the Hardens, obviously full-length jet boost is equally as good, but the also curvature might have helped too. Not necessarily a super smooth transition, but it urges you to either sprint forward or play on your toes more. If you haven't tried this shoe in person yet, I can tell you that the foam carrier is probably softer and cheaper than what you're expecting. The good thing is that it doesn't restrain your movements in any way. Good bouncy option, just like the AE1. Both of these guys have excellent traction. Both are heavy, but like I said, that's not the issue here, believe it or not. Random updates. AE1 Velocity Blue does come with green laces. I always do the lace swap on these, and my hands hurt like absolute shit. Harden Volume 8 in this white party colorway especially will get dirty super easily. The nice tumble leather on the toe box and all the white panels, once somebody steps on it, it's over. That was the case with my Volume 6 and Volume 7 too. It's really hard to clean if you're someone who's very particular about keeping your shoes clean, just so you know. But regardless, it is a gorgeous pair to me. Last but definitely not least, from Nike, let's ring it. This signature line has always been associated with the word bouncy. Deluxe cushioning setups, they don't ever do LeBron dirty with the tag they put on his shoes. And that is, of course, the LeBron 21. If we were to do a list like this every year, the LeBrons can probably make it every year. 21 isn't like crazy bouncy, but for two good reasons, I think it packs a more powerful punch than the 20. One, stability in the heel is greatly improved. It's no longer too soft. Getting a safe landing is super important too, because I do know guys who got injured off of an awkward landing in the previous version. Two, Nike really reduced the weight on these compared to a lot of the older LeBrons that are stupid heavy. Aside from the technology featured, being a lightweight shoe is the most direct way to make it easier to get out for a rebound, let's say, because you simply don't have a big weight that's dragging you down or slowing you down. Like the way you get up in a morning shoot around with an empty stomach is for sure different from how it is after you're fully loaded from an all-you-can-eat dinner. Right. Performance of the LeBron 21 and even the specific weight does vary depending on which colorway you get. From my personal experience, I say just avoid the patent leather ones, even though they look beautiful. Hopefully this is a good time to talk about these too. I know they've been going on sale recently. Some of you in the US have seen some colorways go for like $100 or below. That's like a good 50% off or even more discounts. Easy decision, if you were to ask me. So that concludes this list for the bounciest basketball shoes as of now. Again, my top 5 are the AE1, Harden Volume 8, Fresh Foam BB V2, Big 3 Future, and LeBron 21. Honestly, these 5 are not only nice and bouncy on feet, they're all really fun to play in, and all of them are top tier performers based on my experience. But let me know your picks down in the comments. What are the bounciest shoes that work really well for you? Please feel free to share with us. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.